My name is Michael, and I'm the Inside Communications Director for San Quentin. The contents of this episode include strong language and graphic descriptions of violent crimes that may include sexual assault. This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome back to the Prison Podcast. I'm Diane, Kahn, your host, and we're thrilled to have you with us. Today, we're diving back into the powerful narratives of those who have participated in victim offender dialogues. These stories offer a unique glimpse into the profound experiences of individuals who have engaged in this transformative process. In our previous episode, we heard from Elle, Emily's mother, who shared her heartfelt journey of grief and healing. This time, we'll hear from Alan, currently incarcerated in San Quentin State Prison. Alan and Elle both took part in the Victim Offender Dialogue Program, a powerful in-person experience inside San Quentin, which brings together individuals on both sides of tragedy to foster understanding, healing, and even sometimes forgiveness. Today, we're speaking with Alan, who was responsible for the tragic accident that took Emily's life while he was driving under the influence. Alan shares his difficult journey to sobriety, his deep gratitude for Elle's courage in forgiving him, and his hope that, through his own growth, he can help others make better decisions. Thank you for joining us as we continue to explore stories of loss, forgiveness, and transformation from both sides of the prison walls.
This is Global Tel-Link. You have a prepaid call from
Alan Mabry,
an inmate at the California State Prison, San Quentin, California.
Hi, Alan. It's Diane. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. Another glorious day here in San Quentin. I got my oil change this morning, so I'll be all right. I'm good for another. Well, I don't have to go back till Tuesday now.
I never thought about it. You going to dialysis as an oil change. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't think about it either until I started doing it. Life gives you twists and turns. That's how you deal with them.
Yeah, I love your attitude. You're inspirational, Alan. So in this case, I don't need to hear all the details. Whatever your story is and whatever you feel comfortable sharing, then we can just talk through it. And, you can talk about the whole victim offender and how that applies to you and what you learned through it and just your side of the story and your journey and what you went through.
What you're talking about is insight and connecting the dots. And my dots go a long way back. You know what I mean? There's reasons why I drank so much. I had to face what happened as a child and deal with it as a man and understand how to forgive myself, and not only myself, but the people that did it to me. And that took a while. That wasn't an overnight process. I'm not the same person I was coming into prison. I was a lost individual running from reality. If I wasn't working, I was drinking. If I wasn't drinking, I was working. I didn't drink alcohol at work because I knew I wouldn't keep a job and I wouldn't have any money. So that's pretty much my story. But there's reasons why I drank. I couldn't deal with what happened to me. And me and Elle, that day, that victim offender dialogue, it took 6 months to set this up. Me, Martina, and Allison, we went over a lot of things. And what they really did was they groomed me for it. But that was the hardest thing I ever did in my life, was walk in that room and face that lady. At that point, I figured she hated me. I didn't know what to expect. But when I walked in and Elle gave me a hug, I just broke down. That right there changed me. And from there on, it was just a conversation. And then when she showed me the pictures of her daughter laying in the hospital bed, I seen my actions right straight in front of me. That's, my irresponsibility, what I did and the consequences of my actions. So that was life-changing. The way Elle received me, I mean, you know her. Oh, my goodness gracious. There was so much forgiveness in the room and just so much compassion. Kind of changed everybody's life in there. I mean, I got a friend, Kathleen Jackson. She was the facilitator in my Houses of Healing, or in our Houses of Healing. I went through it, and I bared a lot of things about my childhood in it. And then she asked me to facilitate it again. and facilitate it with her. And I did. And then time goes on, and then she was the first person they asked me, because they asked me if I wanted a support person to be there with me in the VOD. And I said, yeah. So, it was a life-changing event. There's got to be forgiveness on both sides. There's hatred. The victims hold. It's not eating, and they'll never get any healing out of it. But you can't blame them because, look at what happened to them. But Elle was big enough to make that step into forgiveness, and my God, it just changed both of our lives and the people around us. I wrote a little essay in my board pack, and they made a big comment on it. They asked me to explain it, and it's just hard to explain it, with a straight face. It had that much impact on me, and on Elle, and on everybody around it.
Yeah, it's striking how one afternoon, though I know it does take months to prepare for, how seeing one person like that has such a ripple effect and can change so many lives. It's startling to me. And so I feel like it's a gift to be able to share even what you're saying with the world.
It really was a gift. I'm a Christian, and I believe God was very much in that room. He just guided the whole thing. But I couldn't find the forgiveness for February 7, 2009. See, when I made a left-hand turn, I stepped out of my truck and I seen Emily laying in the middle of the road. It's just, that was my lowest point in my life. I always thought this would never happen to me. This would never happen to me. I kept drinking and driving, and that's what it did happen to me. That was the worst day of my life, the worst day of her life. And they were both in here talking and giving each other a hug and just going over, it's just my God.
And how many years later was it that you saw her after that incident?
10 years. I still got the ducat in my Bible. They've got a picture of her daughter in my Bible. I see it every morning when I wake up.
You mean the ducat, the piece of paper that lets you know where you can walk?
Yeah, they're for appointments.
It's a good place to keep it.
I got this ducat. I didn't know what the heck this was. I didn't know what I was walking into. And I walked in and I sat down, and then I waited for them. They finally showed up, and then they sat down. He's probably wondering what this is. I said, yeah. My mind was racing. Martina said, you know Eleanor Dowdy? Yeah, I know her. I said, of course, she's my victim's mother. And she said, well, what would you think about having a conversation? What else could I say with you? That went all the way from January 15th, 2019, just about 6 months, we had the bond. But we went over a lot of things in depth in that 6 months. They wanted to know about what brought me to the point of being an alcoholic. I wasn't just an alcoholic, I could stop drinking. The only time I stopped drinking was when I had a reason, and I was at work. I was able to do things to keep my mind busy. Don't get me wrong, I'm not using this as an excuse for February 7th, 2009. That was my stupidity and my irresponsibility. But you got to understand what I was dealing with to make me drink so much. I didn't think I was hurting anybody. I thought it was just, just all on me. But, in all actuality, I look back and see all the people that I've hurt. It's amazing. AA brings that up when you do the 12 steps. When you make that step forward list, make a fearless morals, searching inventory of yourself. It's just, you got to bring all that stuff up and see exactly what you did. All the people that I just pushed out of my life because of my alcohol. I came to prison when I was 46. I was molested by my father when I was 6. Actually from the age 4 to 6, he molested me and my sister. And then he made me have sex with her. I guess he's trying to straighten us out. And, at age 6, he ended up committing suicide. This stuck with me for a while. That isn't what stuck with me. What stuck with me was when my stepfather raped my sister. He used to beat the shit out of me, and he raped my sister. I started self-medicating back when I was 10 years old. I started stealing weed from him, and that's when I started learning how to get away from reality. The thing is, I just tried to be small. I tried to stay away from everybody. I didn't want any conflict around. So I just stayed outside and I stayed away. And, I took this all the way through childhood. When I was about 14 years old, I was out of control. Mom put me in a boys' home. And that's what gave me my work ethic. Because I was a little hoodlum running around with the kids, just stealing pop bottles, stealing bikes, and stuff like that. I mean, just went all the way through my life. I never dealt with it. But see, when I stepped out of that truck, February 7th, 2009, I wanted to end my life. I had every intention to end my life. When I went back to jail, they transferred me. I just never had the opportunity. And this is where God stepped in. Jeff Wolford was the guy that was being incarcerated. He looked at me, man, I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't get Emily's out of my brain. I couldn't sleep at night. I just couldn't get over it. He said, man, he handed me the Bible. He said, man, you need this. And I read that Bible from cover to cover. And that's when I figured out, the first step, I wasn't even nowhere around. It's my life had become unmanageable. I was powerless over alcohol. I had to go to step 3. Thank God, It's weird how it worked, but how it worked is just in God's time, and that's what happened. When I went to Donovan there, I didn't go to AA. I went to church. I did a lot of Bible studies. It's like a homie hookup network. It wasn't a place to go. If you wanted to go get some pills or go get some wine or anything like that, that's what it was. Fast forward to San Quentin. I mean, the AA was there was a step meeting. I've been in that step meeting for going on 11 years now. Between that, houses of healing, restorative justice, grip, and Vogue, it's been a good thing. But the thing about the bond is it helped me forgive myself, because when hell came with so much forgiveness, you just don't understand how it just blew my mind. It wasn't feasible. I just thought she hated me, and then when she came with so much kindness, and then when she gave me her phone numbers, we've been in contact ever since. And I love her to death. She's my hero. Very giving person. She gave me a lot. I don't know if I can ever repay her and give her back, but all I can do is to keep my sobriety and keep going forward, be a better me than I was before.
Well, it's so positive to look at that way. And she's just such a life force. I haven't met her yet. I hope to meet her pretty soon. And she and I are going to talk about everything you're talking about today. So for people that might be listening, will you explain what grip and Vogue is?
Grip is generating rage into power. It gives you tools to deal with your rage. It helps you get rid of your baggage. There's a thing in there, it's called CETA, sensations, emotions, thoughts, and action. The thing is, you want to control your sensations. And then if you control your sensations and your emotions, triggers into your thoughts. And then that plays into your action. You know what I mean? So if you can control all of them, you're doing good. It gives you tools like stop, which is stop to observe and process. So when you get into competition, it's triggering you. Just stop, observe, you process, and then usually you come up with the right course of action. There's a lot more into grip. We go on all day about what it gives you. It's a year-long thing. It even helps you with your anger management. The Vogue is different. Victim offender educational group. It teaches you in front of a lot of people. It's got different exercises. You have to go through the exercise. What I mean, different exercises to deal with your past baggage in front of a group of people. That's like a 2-year thing. And then the biggest thing, the first group I got into was houses of healing. Houses of healing, you get to see that child, that innocent child back when you were getting raped by your father or fucking, houses of healing helps you get in touch with that child. And that's what I did. I got back in touch with that child. See, before this, I didn't talk to my mom for a long time. We were really, really bad. So by getting in touch with that child, you learn forgiveness. I had to learn how to forgive my mom. I had to learn how to forgive my dad. I had to learn how to forgive my stepdad. Understand me, this was not easy, because I had a lot of hatred, a lot of resistance built up over the years. And to be honest, I still got it. I just have channels to get rid of it. I had to learn how to forgive Randy. The main thing, I had to learn how to forgive my mom. But the thing about houses of healing is where I met Kathleen. And, without all this, Kathleen's her nature, her kindness, it helped me open up. But the thing about it is the whole group opened up. I found out I wasn't the only one that's been misused. Everyone in that group had a testimony. Just everybody out there has got a testimony. I grew up watching, Leave It to Beaver. Nobody had to Leave It to Beaver life. There's kids in there to sit there and watch their moms get beat themselves, and the sexual abuse that goes around. I mean, it happens to men too. It was amazing. That group of men in that room helped me so much to bring up what's inside of me out. Once I got it out, I started dealing with that inner child, the little Alan back when he was innocent. They got exercises where you're writing letters. Little Alan, and then I even wrote a letter to my mom that really wasn't good, but it was my emotions coming out. And that's the main thing. I had to learn how to get my emotions out. But you know what? I can't leave out triple CMS. I don't know if you know what that is.
I don't.
It's a mental health program where you talk to a counselor. I got into it when I first came into prison. I was having a problem sleeping because I kept seeing Emily. So they ended up giving me what we call up here in prison Skittles. But they gave me pills to sleep at night. That's where it started opening up a little bit too. 2011, when I was in Donovan, I finally opened up to this therapy. I've been locked up 15 years. I don't know anything about a computer. 59 years old. I turned 60 November 15th. Being in prison kind of gives you time to take care of yourself, and that's one thing I found out. I'm taking care of myself. My kidney is another issue. It's just something hereditary that's in my family, and I happen to get that gene. I lost both kidneys, so I'm on a machine now. I try not to let that stop. I've been being in a chair 3 hours and 15 minutes, 3 times a week. Something I've got to figure out when I get out.
Yeah. Do you have a place you want to parole to?
It's in Oakland.
Is it called the Dream Center?
I wanted to go to the Dream Center, but they kind of screwed that up. I don't even know if I still got a bed there. So Martina's got a transitional house. That's where I'm going. So I'll get my own room and just a place where I can focus on getting my life back together and saving some money. The thing is I won't have to pay rent. Get back on my feet. I'm very employable. I just got to deal with this freaking dialysis. I have skills. I'm a welder. I'm a finisher. I'm a sheetrocker. I've done everything. I've helped build clinics here in the prison. So, I've got skills to get out there. It's just got to learn how to deal with them and deal with my dialysis. God being in there, God's going to figure out a way. He chin checked me for September 1st, the day before I was fixing to go out and leave. I learned how to say it is what it is, and there's got to be a reason for it. So I just don't understand the reason. That's all I can do is just keep going forward.
Yeah, be positive and like you're doing the work on yourself and you're healing other people, which is beautiful to know.
The thing about it is I work with the kids here. I don't know if you ever heard of squires. You know what that is?
Are they juveniles that come in and take a tour?
Yeah. They take the kids in a room and we all get in a circle. It's amazing what will happen in a circle. We bring honesty and, just sincerity. And we've had some really, really good circles as far as the kids. And my heart goes out to them because they had no direction out there. They had no role models. We try to give them direction. It's only a one-day thing. We do the best we can to impact, give this little seed, go out. What it is, children don't understand that there's more help than they think. All they got to do is reach out and ask. That was my problem. I didn't know how to ask. I didn't want to ask. Just too proud. Leave me alone. Look, this is my life. You stay there alone. That's just the way I thought. And that's the way these kids think. And it's a trip. That circle is kind of hard to break. That circle keeps going around, and at one point you got to break it. February 7, 2009, my circle broke open. And I had to do something. But I could see myself in these kids. Some of these kids, they take direction and actually ask for the numbers that we've got. And ask for they come look, your social worker is probably your best friend. But unfortunately, sometimes the social worker gets too freaking hard-nosed and they don't even understand what the kid is coming after. They come and ask you a question. There's something there. You know what I mean? Children have that pride You got to break that barrier. And that's what we would do in these circles. And they would tell us about their fathers and their mothers. And I mean, I got as much out of them as they did. The main thing is our motto is always get you first. You know, we would tell our testimony. I'd give them a brief deal about my childhood. And that was it. That would break open the moment. That would break the ice. Now, all I try to do is be a better person than I was in 2009. That's not very hard because I wasn't a real good person. I mean, I wasn't a good person. I might have been working, but I didn't give a damn about looking for alcohol. The thing was, at 3:30, it was time to get back there, and I didn't stop till I passed out. This happened for years, decades. That was that circle. Emily Dowdy broke that circle.
Can you walk us through your face-to-face conversation with Elle at San Quentin? I'd love to hear as many details as you're comfortable sharing about that day and what that experience was like for you.
I got inducted the night before I went to meet these two ladies. What it was the attorney said a legal advisor. So I had no idea what it was. So I'm going down there flying, and I go down there and see. I sat there waiting for about an hour. They finally showed up. And Martina and Allison both showed up. Do you know Eleanor Dowdy? And I said, yeah, she's my victim's mother. He said, well, would you be interested in meeting with her or having a conversation? I said, sure. I mean, how could I turn it down? They said, okay. They wanted to see where I was at as far as meeting her. They didn't want me to meet her, and it would be bad, So what they did for the next 6 months, that we went through my childhood. From the time when I told you about my father, went through that. We went through all the details of going up into his suicide. And then went through the details of me going through Randy, my stepfather, and Randy raping my sister. And all the details of my childhood as far as how I was just out of control. I just told them about my life. In the middle of all this, I would get very emotional, and some things are hard to talk about. They're easier now, but back then they were really hard, especially with two strangers. They groomed me. He got me ready for the bond, and that took 6 months. Finally, January 15th, 2019 was the day of the bond. 3 days before that, I got put in the hole for the flu. The 15th was on a Monday. They let me out of the hole, and I finally made it there. But going inside that room was the most challenging thing I ever did because I didn't know what I was walking into. I walked in there, and I looked at her, and I just started crying. And she got up, and she gave me a hug. I don't remember exactly what she asked me. I know what we did is we just sat there and we talked. Sat in the visiting room for like 6 hours. Went over my childhood. She told me some things about her. She told me some things about Emily. And then at the start of it, she asked me if I would be interested in looking at some pictures of her in the hospital of her last days. I said, are you really ready for that? And, we were talking, and she had that photo album right there by her. I kept looking at that photo album. We went over my childhood. We went over her life. And I finally said, well, you want to show me those pictures? She said, yeah. And she opened that photo album and she showed me. So they had her on life support. And you could see her just sitting there with all the tears coming out of her.
I know this is hard and difficult to bring up, and I appreciate you going through all these emotions again with me and, people that are listening. So I really appreciate you, Alan. Thank you.
Yeah, it was, especially looking at those pictures, seeing what I did right straight up in front of me. And that really, really, that was one of the two that moved me. It really did. And it still does. To the day, I can still see the pictures. It's just like I can still see Emily laying in the middle of the road. Just I've seen all those tubes and everything coming out of her. I just started crying, and then I think she gave me a hug, and then God bless her, she gave me a picture of her and Elle. She told me, "I don't want your last image of my daughter being like this." So she gave me that just picture of her hugging her daughter, and that's the one. That's the picture I've got in my Bible. I open my Bible every morning. I see it. So that's what I wake up to every morning. There's the whole time we had Martina there, we had Allison there, a guy named Noel there, and then we had Kathleen Jackson there. It's just everybody there could feel the emotions inside the room. And there was something that I wasn't expecting. I got there with the unknown. I didn't know what the heck was going to happen, but I left with everything. I left with the forgiveness Elle gave me. Because I carried that death of that young girl. I still do, but not as much. But it helped me to where I can, forgive myself. I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive myself for what happened on February 7, 2009. But I've had to learn how to live with it. Because if I don't learn how to live with it, I'll be the same alcoholic I was when I leave here. So that's where these groups came in. And GRIP helped me understand that. The biggest one was Houses of Healing. Houses of Healing helped me deal with my emotions. It's just that and learning how to ask for help. January 15th was a heck of a day. We were in that room for like 6 hours. We left when we got kicked out. They told us to leave. The thing about it, everything else, I've been in contact with Elle in since. She gave me her phone number. She's an amazing lady. I mean, she's been one of my biggest advocates trying to get me out of here when they turned me down, when they told me that I had more time to do whatever happens. I'll be in debt with that woman the rest of my life, and there's no way I can repay what I did to her. I'm sitting in this room. I'm part of the worst day of her life. I'm the one that made that. I killed this lady's daughter, and she's giving me a hug and telling me she's forgiving me. I mean, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. The whole six months that we were dreaming, getting ready for it, I just couldn't wrap my mind around that. But it happened, and here we are now. I'm talking to you about the worst day of my life. It's actually saved my life because I'm sober, I'm clear-headed, and I've got a lot of people that are supporting me. And before, all I had was me, alcohol, and my job. That's it. I didn't care about nothing else.
Oh my gosh, I'm still reeling from what you said. I just have tears coming down my face that you're just going through that grief and that death. And I can only imagine what those pictures look like. And there you are in that, room with the officers and a support group and this woman where you took her child. It's just, it's miraculous that we're able to both be here and talk about it. You have learned so much from it.
That was a miracle. It really was. I mean, I even told it to the board, and the board, they got emotional, and I wrote an essay, and I put it on the cover page of my board pack. They read it. They asked me more about it, and I explained exactly like I was explaining to you. I said, like I said, I walked in knowing nothing, but the unknown, and I walked out with everything. Everybody when they left that room, they were changed. And, I just wish I could see more people, because this is traumatic for both of us. I mean, I'm the perpetrator, and that's her daughter, and it's just, The only thing I can explain is that it was pure human, and God was in the room. It's very emotional. It was a tremendous 6 hours.
It sounds like it's been life-changing, and just the positivity and the healing for so many, right? The ripple effect of that, of both of you and your families and everybody in your life. And it's nice that you're able to kind of truncate it for us. It was just, you said alcohol, and your job beforehand. And,
yep.
Now you've chosen to have a clear head.
The thing about it is I can't get real cocky or anything like that. I got to remember I'm one drink away from being that same alcoholic. I'll never be cured of my alcoholism. So that's the main thing I've got to do. God, sobriety, and me. That's the way I got to look at it. No other way for me. You got to understand, I've spent so many years just drinking and drinking and drinking and not dealing with what was going on inside of me. That was my problem. I was just dealt with what was going on inside of me way back when. See, I'm going back and that's sure to the wood, and I can't do that either because that's setting myself up for failure. So I had to learn how to live with Emily. Thank God I had Elle to help me learn how to live with the fact that I killed that little young girl. But I had to learn how to live with my past too. 15 years later, I'm a different person. I'm still human. I hold my sobriety up there really, really high. The vibe is one of the pivotal parts of my incarceration to help me understand forgiveness. I'm the worst part of Elle's life. She's just a very giving person. You'll find out when you meet her. I'm sure you talked with her, but she even talks to my mom. This is unfathomable. It's a miracle. She was at my GRIP graduation. They surprised the heck out of me, man. She was on the victims panel. They actually let her in. Here, I'm fixing to graduate from GRIP, and I'm over by the window, and I look out and I see Martina. She's on the outside. I'm on the inside. And visiting room. That's where we had the graduation. And lo and behold, both of them come in. And I was floored. I hadn't stopped myself from, just breaking down. And then she came and gave me a hug, and then she went up, she started speaking. She was telling about our testimony. And I'm sitting there, I'm crying. I'm in the audience. And then she said, yeah, that the guy that did this he's in the audience, and he's sitting right there. His name is Alan. And I walked up and I gave her a big old hug, and everybody just started crying, especially her. Then she put my banner on, and I've got pictures of that. That was a heck of a day. They just surprised me. I mean, I seen Martina. I said, what the heck is she doing here? And she hit, lo and behold, there's Elle. It floored me. I went over and I gave her a hug. Everybody was talking to her, and everybody was asking me questions. They were mainly asking her questions. They got heard of that, the victim and the offender there. And I walked the yard for months after that, and people come up to me I'd never known before. She said, man, I appreciate your speech. That really moved me. That wasn't my speech. That was her. It's amazing what actually happened. I mean, it's just that day not only moved, obviously, me and Elle, but everybody in the room. I mean, that's how impacting it was. See, all this spurred out of that one meeting or that one question whether I wanted to meet with Elle. The work that we put in, going up into it, we met like, I don't know, in that 6 months, probably about 20 times. They took notes, and it was amazing. And between that and then just got through graduating gold, and she's going to be on the victims panel here coming up. I was in that group for 4 years. Actually, a year before COVID, and we're down 2 years, and a year after COVID. So I did there 4 years. It's supposed to be a 2-year program, but COVID lasted 2 years. After that, we went for another year. We're done with the group. It's just we're waiting on the graduation. It surely has helped my attitude. It's just it's amazing what's come out of a bad situation. Bad, really, really, really horrendous day. I could imagine what that call was when they told her what happened. And yeah, so many years of bad decisions and thinking that it'd never be me. And then, I stepped out of my pickup truck and into the worst nightmare of my life. 15 years later, here I am sitting here talking to that girl's mother, and it's amazing.
We haven't really expounded upon what you've been through. We've talked about it a little bit, but you chose to do the hard work. You've chosen to be vulnerable, and you've chosen to dig deep into those places. And, you've had to hate those, people that affected your life, your mom, your dad, your stepdad, and people that have just done wicked, mean things to you, and then be able to get yourself to the point, like you said, of acceptance and forgiveness. And it's miraculous where you've been, and you've been able to go to that point and hold that pain and then actually lift yourself up from it. You're doing as much as it is Elle's to bring all this forgiveness and love and healing for so many of us. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. To learn how to not dwell in the past and learn how to live with it. That's all I did. I should have done it a lot earlier. But just when I look at myself in the mirror and like what's what I see, I might be a little older, but I'm a little wiser. Me and my mom had an immaculate relationship before. I never went home. I just stayed away. But now me and my mom have a good relationship. Me and my sister have a good relationship. I wish she would accept some of the things that happened to her. I don't know if I'll be able to help her when I get out, but I'm gonna sure try. I've been in AA for going on 11 years now, and I've heard all kinds of testimonies, all kinds of things that people get dwell on, that they use alcohol just to pacify what it is. And man, alcohol is dangerous. It really is. Not just alcohol, drugs, or whatever. There's so many escapes from reality. That's another thing I had to learn. I'm only human. I had to quit beating myself up. Forgiveness is easy to say, it's easy to spell, but it's hard to do. Especially forgiving yourself. That's why I got to say that again. Elle helped me forgive myself. And she says I helped her as much as she helped me, and but she just don't know who I was back then. I mean, I was only one mission. I didn't care about the love of my life was Budweiser and a Marlboro. And that's it. The day before I was supposed to be released, they pulled me in and said, "Mr. Mabry, I'm sorry, we got some bad news." So what do you mean? He said, "Well, you're supposed to be released tomorrow. You're actually not going to. We miscalculated your date." And then he gave me the date, and he said, "Your actual day is 4/19/2025." And I was devastated. To be honest, I asked for, I want my time sheets, and they gave me the breakdown of it. And I see where they made the mistake. It was a mistake, but they waited all the way up to the day before I'm supposed to be released. I mean, I got found suitable by the board in October of 2022. They wait till September 1st, 2023 to break this bombshell on me. I mean, I'm going to get my whole family thinking I'm coming out. That's the worst thing I ever had to do is go and call my mom and tell her, "Hey, Mom, I'm not coming out," and then she just said, "Are you just a sick joke? What are you talking about, Alan?" Yeah. And then I broke it down to her. But, to make this possibly happy ending out of this, I went to the counselor's office yesterday, and Mr. Nurse, the head of the parole division, I signed potential release papers waiting on the governor's signature. That's the happy ending out of all this.
What a roller coaster.
Yes, it really was. When he told me this, I didn't know what to do. I just had to keep going forward. Like I said, I had to go, and the worst thing I had to do is call my mom. But then I had to deal with the freaking consequences of 17 months. It's a little over 17 months. I was lost. You know what? I think God played a thing in my favor because Jennifer Schaefer did a clinic here for Mental Health Week. And I went to her clinic, and she had her speech. They had Q&As there at the end. And there's a big line up there, and I got in the back of the line, and I didn't make it through there. But I decided to just walk up to her and confront her. And when I confronted her, she said, "Yeah, Mr. Mabry, I'm so sorry about what happened." She said, "Your name is familiar. I know about your case, and we are going into it." And at the same time, I had Martina on the outside. She didn't have solid. I mean, she went to bat for me. They were working on the outside, and it happened, and hopefully it's going to get my release. The thing about it is I'm on dialysis, so I think what we're trying to do is go through a medical release. They've got a dialysis clinic here. They do it Monday through Friday. I'm in there Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I'll be in there tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 till about 9:30. What time they get me on is 3 hours and 15 minutes. That's pretty much my life.
How much longer are you in? Do you know?
No, like I said, I signed the release papers yesterday. We're waiting on is the governor's signature. It's still pending. So as soon as he signs it, I mean, I've got a transitional house, which is actually through the easement group. Well, I just hurry up and wait. You know what I mean? It was nice to go in there and sign the papers. At least they were doing something on my behalf. Some of the governor's reports now.
Yeah, there you go. So tell us a little bit about what your future is going to look like when the potential is for you to get out.
Well, when I get out, 3 main things I've got to do. I've got to my sobriety. I've got to work. I got to keep my spiritual side up. What I wanted to do is maybe come back into prison and give back. I need to give back some sort of way. And then whatever hell wants, I don't know. Martina was saying that she could use me also as far as going inside prisons, but I'm willing to give back. That's the key to sobriety, is not keeping it and giving it back. You know what I mean? Just helping other people. You know, I help them now, but there's a lot of people with their hands out and they want help. They just don't know how to ask.
Well, that's true. Like what you say,
Well,
they want help. They just don't know how to ask or who to go to. So yes, you and so many can be such a great resource.
for about, I don't know, the first 10 years I was in prison, I went through psychology courses up to infant through adolescence, Psych 101. But what I was trying to do was to try to be a drug and alcohol counselor. I tried to get in the group that they got here, but I couldn't get in. I was just a little bit shy of getting into it, and then they moved it. Only problem is with a drug and alcohol counselor, they don't make very much money. So I've been thinking seriously about taking the ADAC and alcohol, drug, and I can't remember the other ones, but that's something I'd like to do too. Lord willing, we'll just see.
Thank you for joining us and listening to Alan's powerful story of accountability and redemption. It was an honor to witness the profound relationship Alan and Elle have built and the true healing it has brought. Elle's own experience with alcoholism and its far-reaching effects allowed her to approach their meeting with deep compassion, fostering understanding and transformation. Their victim offender dialogue exemplifies the courage it takes to heal and the insights gained through difficult conversations. I personally can't help but wonder how their relationship will evolve when Alan is released and able to return home to hug his family, while Elle must continue to navigate life without the opportunity to hold her daughter again. We hope Alan's journey inspires reflection, growth, and compassion as we explore loss, forgiveness, and transformation. Join us for our next episode where we speak with Michelle, whose life was forever changed when her husband died in a fatal stabbing. For years, she lived with a false narrative about her husband's death, fueling unresolved anger and pain for her and her family. Everything shifted when Michelle chose to meet face-to-face with his attacker, Stephen, uncovering the answers she had been seeking and finding a path toward healing. If you or someone you know is interested in a victim offender dialogue, contact your local Department of Corrections. If these services aren't available, consider advocating for them through your local representative. Join us for this powerful conversation, and remember, even in our most painful moments, healing is possible and change is within reach. Be kind to yourself.